Thank you, Angie, and awesome sentiments and updates from everyone here. Honestly, I'm blown away by all the work that's been going on over the holidays. Like Rosario said, some of us took a little bit of downtime. The project was really put down to critical manning just to keep things going. But the engineering team kept on powering through. And you can see we're kicking off the year with just a tremendous amount of work that's been ongoing on racing towards getting Zendu to mainnet. So as we talk about priorities and as we start putting together our 2021 roadmap, you can probably guess, and obviously I've been saying this over and over, but our number one priority for the year is getting Zendu to mainnet. And we talked towards the end of last year about two different options for getting it to mainnet. One that ended up being a de-risked option. Basically, let's figure out exactly what we need to get to mainnet, and then we can have other things as nice to have options. Well, critical things as we go, in particular with the full Lattice implementation, but not things that need to be bundled into a single delivery, things that we could actually unbundle and work on them in parallel and make sure that we are emphasizing resources on the critical path for getting Zendu to mainnet as quickly as possible in a secure and professional way, which obviously we always do with software development. So this is a huge year for us, and what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks is we're going to be internally just finalizing these roadmap details, and you've heard some snippets from different divisions. I'm going to be talking to the different division heads and just going over priorities, making sure that all the priorities per division map to just a big strategic vision. Then we need to socialize this with you, the community, get feedback, and we'll package this up into an official roadmap for the year. And then we'll be checking out progress as we go, so you can all just have as transparent a view on what we're doing as possible. So as we that's our main focus. But what does this do for us, and why is there such a major emphasis on it? It's because getting Zendu to mainnet and all of the tools that make it possible for people to launch sidechains, as well as us, but also all of the different partners that you've heard about, our design partners and potential clients from partners and our own clients from companies like Horizon Labs. You're going to see a flurry of activity of real world use cases that go along with this technology. So it's not just about building this cool technology and getting it to market. We're also simultaneously going out to the market and getting a feeler for, is there demand for what we're doing? Are we actually solving a critical value proposition in this very sometimes perception of crowded marketplace? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we're seeing much more demand than we ever thought we would. Not that we didn't have confidence in what we're doing, but once we actually started getting out there and talking to people, in particular other public blockchain projects and private blockchain projects, we realized that we've tapped into a gold mine here. And I don't mean gold mine from like a monetary perspective. I mean gold mine from just like a demand perspective. There's so much demand for the technology that we're delivering. And this just makes me extremely bullish and just absolute clarity that we're on the right track, and we're going to be focusing our resources on getting this product to mainnet as quickly as possible and as responsible a way. And by that, again, I mean in a de-risked fashion. And then we're going to have these other important technology deliveries with the full Lattice implementation and a whole bunch of use cases that go along with it. But what's really exciting, and what I want to make sure it gets into the roadmap, what it enables us is we have to keep pushing hard for real decentralization. And if you go back to the early days of Bitcoin, and I was doing a little research of this for my own academic research, but if you look at governance in public blockchain systems, they very much started out as benevolent dictatorships. And from there, they have to evolve. If we're building actual protocols that are going to scale to the world and to many different types of use cases, and you want these things that we talk about, like immutability and censorship resistance, these systems have to be decentralized. So we cannot continue down a path where we have discretionary authority in certain individuals, to the extent that we can do something about it. Well, what Zendu on mainnet gives us is the technology where we can do something about it. So that's what we're going to do. And towards the end of the year, I want to have at least designed, if not already started work on the core technology infrastructure systems that decentralize our ecosystem. So for these, we've been talking about them. Those who've been with the community for a while know what I'm going to say. But we have a node system that has software that does tracking, has software that does payments, and has server clusters that track all of this stuff. We need to decentralize it. So getting the node tracking and payment system decentralized and automated is an absolutely critical piece of infrastructure that I want to at least have sketched out by the end of the year. By that I mean on a sidechain system, like on its own sidechain that does that. The other big thing that we have here is we have a resource pool in the treasury. And right now you have the foundation that makes decisions on how to allocate those resources. We're transparent about how we're allocating them, hint, hint on Zendu and that core technology to get it to market. But as we go forward, we have to decentralize this. We have to decentralize how resources are allocated. And the vision here is to democratize it. So we have an actual voting system where Zen is used as a stake that gives you the right to vote for how resources are allocated in the system. So towards the end of the year, the vision is to actually have a voting system designed for a sidechain. So a sidechain that can actually solicit votes, information from the community. Community members can directly vote on proposals that they want to actually fund, and then automate how resources are allocated to different projects with this sidechain system. So that's something that, for sure, we're not going to be able to deliver that in 2021. But what we will deliver is the sidechain technology that makes it possible, and then we can get work on the designs for these things. And then we can start programming work and planning this type of work towards the end of the year that will go into 2022. The other thing, and this is something that's I think offers a lot of different opportunities, is to think about can we build things like a privacy sidechain, so like a shielded pool sidechain. This is something we've been talking about for a while. It's an idea, and I think it's going to be something that might be controversial for some people. So it's an idea that I want to float out there towards the end of the year of, can we migrate the shielded pool from the main chain to its own side chain? And there are a variety of reasons to do this and probably some reasons not to do it. But what I think is absolutely critical is to get a vigorous community conversation over the year going about this topic. This can touch on regulatory issues, but I think it ultimately comes down to technology reasons for why I support the idea. At least now, with what I understand about it, I support it, but it's something that we have to flesh out on feasibility and then an actual path to make it happen. And if it is possible, what it could give us is a firewalled kind of security system for the shielded pool, so that if there ever were a bug in the shielded pool, it wouldn't impact the entire money supply, and therefore every single system and blockchain and sidechain that we ever build in our ecosystem, it would be contained to the sidechain, and therefore would be a significant risk reduction for the entire ecosystem. So anyway, these are the big things that I view on our roadmap strategically. Next step is we're going to be talking to all the division chiefs on it. We're going to clarify division priorities, make sure they're consistent with the big picture strategy, and then socialize this with the community. And socialization starts now. So this is going to be the year where we are marching towards our real decentralization. It's a process, like we've always said, we're doing this responsibly, but now we're finally getting that technology that's been contingent on to market. So it's a really big deal. It's going to be a really fun year. And guys, welcome to 2021.